Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome back. European Wrestling All Stars in the CornellVerse. We are in our third episode, March Toward Victory, with that is the Toy Story logo, isn't it? Oh, you guys can't see it. I've covered it up. Hang on, I don't do this normally, but you know, that's basically the Toy Story logo, right? Well, either way. And back to where I was. Anyway, I shouldn't really do that live in a record. I said live in a recording, but yeah. So welcome back. Big show already announced for this show. Of course, was my main event, Kruge versus Kronos. Finally, we're going to get into that storyline and maybe go on to better and bigger things. So ignore this. This is pre-show, so I'm not trying to get my character over here or anything. I'm just put this as a placeholder to start going through the results. And we're going to open hot. The last episode, you saw Bret Heartbreak defend against newcomer Michael Gregory. We've got a storyline going on between Magnus Cage and Bret, where Magnus Cage is going, I'm the new hot thing here. You're yesterday's news, Bret. So I'm going to take that belt off you eventually. Well, just makes sense to throw a tag match in there. And with Bret Heartbreak, I've got someone who I think has some potential. So I want to start getting him in there, see what happens. Eugen Semper. And in this match, Bret Heartbreak and Eugen Semper are going to defeat Magnus Cage and Michael Gregory in what I want to be like a really good match. Ideally, I want it to be hot, then go for it. And Bret Heartbreak is the one pinning Michael Gregory. So it's a big plus for Bret. Finally, he's a bit simmering for me. He's a bit inconsistent. I'm finding out, which is the problem because he is the boss's son. So I have to kind of walk carefully with there. And unfortunately, Eugen was the weak link, but that's because the other three are all really good. Like Magnus Cage is potentially the best work I have, actually. Bret Heartbreak obviously is what he is. Michael Gregory, I've signed him for a reason, and he's not going to be my last signing. I've been looking at free agents, and I'm basically going to do a Vince McMahon and steal a lot of really good workers because there's not a lot of depth, it turns out, and I'm going to have to be a bit aggressive. But I'm not going to just throw all that in straight away. I'm going to have to sort out some of what I've got going on first. So yeah, nice start. Really good wrestling there for what I've got. 50. I know there'll be people who are used to doing like massive shows, playing as the WWE in normal games, and probably like the main ones, SWF or whatever it's called, who were like getting match ratings of like 80 and stuff, going, 50, that's rubbish. No, for me, at this level, because I'm in a really small promotion in Europe, that's actually really good. I'm probably not going to get many better wrestling matches than that, realistically. So yeah, so really good, nice, hot match to start us off. I'm really looking forward to seeing Magnus versus Bret eventually. And from there, we're going to go cryptically somewhere in darkness. And we're going to just see. I want you to imagine that face, the one in the middle, that face staring right down the camera, taking up most of the screen. And then just past the shoulder pops Eva Berlin. She's going to look into the camera and she's going to start cutting a promo. She says, tonight, a legendary reign will end and a king will fall. Kruge the Revenger. You have dominated EWA for a long time. But like all empires, yours must return to dust. Some empires end by their own making, others by unavoidable natural disasters. And your undoing lies before you. Kronos the Conqueror is the most destructive force in EWA, and in your heart you know that Kronos is the man who will bring down your world. Tonight, we finally get to see Kruge versus Kronos, and the winner will reign supreme. And the stars, they foretell Kronos the Conqueror as the new EWA Universal Champion. And the Masters of Evil will once again control the fate of the whole of the EWA. Ooh. Now, obviously, she's not as good as me, so this got 34 rating and the angle lost heat. But never mind. I scripted it for her. It's her fault if she couldn't deliver it right. But either way, you can see where it's going. We've got a big main event. Big in inverted commas. It's not my choice of main event, really, but it was one of my main storylines when I first started the game. I need to see it through. How lazy of a booker would I be if I just went, yeah, I don't like any of these storylines, cancel them all. So yeah, so I do have to actually do something with their storylines. And from there, we're going to go to a match with another newcomer. Now, if you watched last week's episode, I showed you that I made a new signing, Thorsten Sigurdsson, and I put him with Hatfor Melstead, who was already on my roster. Now, Hatfor is 19-year-old, and he's a bit rubbish, unfortunately. But he's got this, basically a Viking gimmick. And Thorsten Sigurdsson also has a bit of a Viking gimmick. But he was working with someone else. They released him, I signed him, I'm putting the two Vikings together. So now I've got an impromptu tag team, and it turns out from the dark match I did in the last episode, Thorsten's actually decent, it turns out. So I put him in this match. Now I kind of wanted to do a segment before it, but I kind of went, nah, it's a bit overkill. So the commentary is going to have to sort of put the storyline down. Lothar Prime has been teaming with Dylan Drama, but they've not really been getting on. Last time, it was a distraction, a distraction from Dylan Drama, accidental distraction, I will say, that cost Lothar the match. So I want to imagine that the commentator said, you know, Lothar Prime told Dylan to stay away this time. He's told Dylan to stay in the back, which might be a bit iffy because Thorsten has Hatfor there to help him. And numbers game is going to get to the better of him because even though Thorsten's a massive guy, Lothar Prime has this sort of Dan Severn thing going, so I can imagine the pops from like suplexing Thorsten and stuff like that. You can do little stuff like that, and that's where the wrestling rating is a lot higher than the crowd rating, which is good. But ultimately, Hatfor Melstead is going to get a cheap shot in with the ref's back turned. Prime's going to walk into Thorsten's finishing move, which I imagine is some kind of power slam, maybe. I haven't really checked movesets. But yeah, hits. Oh, there you go, standing power slam. I was right. My instincts were right. And pins Lothar Prime. 1, 2, 3. So win on his official debut on screen, at least. Don't knock out in the dark match. And then, very predictably, unfortunately it's failed. Never mind. I had an angle idea from creative meeting that I've tried to deploy here. It just hasn't worked. Never mind. It's expected to happen. Hatfor is going to get straight in the ring. Imagine an interaction during the match where maybe he was on the apron and Lothar battered him. So he's going to get in and he's just like, no, I'm going to beat this mother up. And he just starts attacking Lothar Prime. And obviously Thorsten's going to get in there as well. He's going to put the boots to him. And then Dylan Drama's going to run out with a steel chair, slide in the ring, going to hold it up. And the two Vikings are going to stare him down. They're going to smile, as in, like, bring it on. But at the same time, they're going to go, yeah, no, we won't do this. And they'll step out the ring. So the chair is what's made them take a back seat a little bit. And as they're walking away, Lothar's going to start getting up. Dylan's going to help him up. And there's going to be a little bit of a moment of, right, if only Dylan was there, maybe the result would have been different. But at least it looks like they're on the same page. Dylan does have Lothar's back when it counts. You can probably predict what my next booking in this storyline is going to be. But yeah, see you next week on that one. Unfortunately, not a great angle score. Oh, I need to dial up that storyline. That storyline isn't doing too well, unfortunately. But it is my mid-card storyline, so it's not that bad, I guess, in the grand scheme of things. Then we got quite a big match. It's actually got a decent score. It did better than I thought. Hercules versus Witch Doctor. Now, all intents and purposes, I need Hercules to be getting ready for main event wrestling. because this storyline with Bam Bam, as we're going to talk about, is quite limiting for him, unfortunately. He seems to be better than this storyline could be. So he's going to go against the Witch Doctor, and he's going to pick up the victory. Turns out with a submission, the Hercules lift. Now, unfortunately, I can't imagine the Witch Doctor tapping out. Or maybe I can, I don't know, with the Witch Doctor. But either way, he's going to pick up a victory in about 8 minutes. Nice and straightforward. I just want him to look good, really. And he got a decent score, actually. I'm actually happy with that. I thought it would get a terrible score. And then he's going to... Well, obviously, Witch Doctor's going to be straight out of there. And then he's going to be like slapping hands at ringside, getting people hyped up. And then some music's going to hit. And Bam Bam is going to start making his entrance. It turns out his match is next, and he's not going to wait. But unfortunately, every single time these two brothers have been in the same room together, they have fought. So Hercules knows the drill. He's stepping on the ramp, ready to square off his brother. Bam Bam's going to face him down. But then out comes the commissioner, or GM in this, I guess. The GM runs out, Byron runs out with loads of security, and they all get between them. And he's like, no, not having this. No more fighting. I'm trying to maintain control here tonight. I'm not doing this again. And there's going to be some mouthing off. There might be a little bit of pointing, shouting and all that. But ultimately, they're going to guide Hercules to one side of the ramp and up. Bam Bam the other side and down. They're going to get them past each other. Bam Bam's wrestling next. So we keep them away from each other here. But we definitely see that there's still some heat between the two. And for the first time in ages, that storyline's gained heat. Because it started white hot. Unfortunately, he's just gone down since, unfortunately. And it's because, unfortunately, Hercules isn't, like, spectacular. He's decent for my level. But Bam Bam's really limited, unfortunately. He can't even wrestle more than 6 minutes without getting a stamina check. Which is very limiting for supposedly my most over guys. So I need to obviously bring this to an end. So in the next match, Paolo Gandolfini versus Bam Bam Johnson. Now, this is off the back of what happened last week. It just makes sense. Also, Paolo has been struggling to get a win. So I thought, what would be good here? Give Paolo a win. So it's going to be a nice back and forward match. Ultimately, I actually thought... Oh, I thought I'd change this. Never mind. I guess I forgot to change this, so it's now canon. I kind of wanted Paolo to get a clean victory over Bam Bam, but instead, he wins by disqualification, and Hercules has distracted Bam Bam. Imagine Hercules coming back out of the ramp to watch, and it's just going to get Bam Bam's back up, I guess, and then he's going to start doing some underhanded things, and maybe he has like... Tell you what would be good, because he's a psychopath, he just has a choke on Paolo and he gets disqualified from that. And all that. But maybe I'd like Paolo to end on top. So headcanon, Paolo fights back and looks strong ultimately. Because he does need to benefit from it because of where I'm going to go for him next. But either way, he's picked up a victory over Bam Bam. And once again, this is an issue. Hercules and Bam Bam. Which leads to Hercules cutting a promo. Once again, because Hercules is out on the ramp, people are scared that they're going to come to brawl. So security gets between the two once again, and as the two shout at each other. Hercules grabs a microphone, or is given a microphone. And they're going to keep this really simple. He's going to go, brother, there's only one way to settle this, and it's man to man. Brother, April 1st at Berlin Brawl. Let's spill blood together. Let's settle this. And then... Bam Bam has right of reply, and it's cut it off there. But I know what he says. He says, because I wrote it, you see. He says, little brother, if we're gonna fight, I don't want these puny men getting between you and I. I don't want you to have any backup. I want no holds barred. And when I beat you and I leave you lying, I don't want to see your sorry face again. Hercules is going to go, brother, Bam Bam, I accept. And there you go. We've got our next big match. We're going to finally do it. Hercules versus Bam Bam Johansson, not Johnson. And it's going to be loser leaves town. That's going to be the announcement. Like, I've not done it on this event as an actual promo. I imagine it's an online only announcement. This, but like, all right, we booked it. Hercules versus Bam Bam Johansson. The brothers are going to end it, but it will be loser leaves town. And look, the lost heat. Oh well. Spoiler alert: next week's going to be the end of that storyline. So finally getting rid of that storyline. Hopefully, while it's still hot and it's not being run at the ground, and then I can focus on things that can actually build properly. But yes, good. We're getting rid of some storylines now, and getting hopefully to a better place. Up next, we have a tag title match. And after a great performance, Petey Barnes and his tag partner, Future X, which I'm not a fan of, are going to have, not Future X, what's he called? He's called like Dennis Future or something. Hang on. Eric Future. There you go. Yeah, so there you go. Future X are going to get a tag title opportunity, and Hammer and Anvil. The problem is, I'm struggling with storyline ideas for Hammer and Anvil, but I definitely am short of tag teams. And of the tag teams I've got, no one is anywhere near as good as Hammer and Anvil. So I do want to keep the belts on them. I just need to think of a smart way to keep the belt on them and keep it entertaining. Ideally, they need to be in a storyline. Ideally, they need better opponents as well. But either way. Decent wrestling, got a 53 rating, no doubt. Nicholas Kramer is decent, you know. He's really good. Everyone in that match actually did well from the looks of things. But yeah, good. And yeah, great match. But it's another defense for my tag team champions. They have a manager, I've realised. But she never gets credited. I don't know why. Maybe it's broken. I don't know. Like, it's mention it anywhere here in the dirt sheet. It doesn't mention any influence she has. I wonder if that's broken, but they do have a manager. And I need to start using them more, because then that's a little bit of an avenue into a storyline. But I do want to keep them together. I don't want to do the obvious and break them up or anything like that. I need to keep them together. But ideally, they need a better opponents. Okay, then we need a right of reply angle. So Kruge the Revenger. Now I've kind of come to the idea in my head that Kruge the Revenger is basically Kane. So I don't want him to talk much. It's a bit weird that he's champion. To be honest, he shouldn't be. But I didn't make that decision. But either way, gets a reply. So I want you to imagine somewhere backstage, brick wall in the background, opens up. He's got the title belt. It's draped down. He's hanging down of him. He's not holding up with anything. Looking down at the camera, down facing. And he's just going to simply go, Kronos, it's over. In that voice as well, in that fake, like, deep voice. Kronos, it's over. And like, yeah. So, yeah, we're gonna nail it tonight. But first, unfortunately, not a great rating, but it was just a squash match. Remember Daniel Black Francis, who I signed a while back as a special attraction? I just need to use him more. Unfortunately, he's getting to the age of retirement. I'm expecting that email very soon, I think, because he is old and he is currently on a contract where he will... It doesn't affect me because I don't have a TV show, but he will only work events, not TV shows. So, limited use out of him. I just want to use him while I can, and I want him to put Demolition Drebin over. Once again, another representative of the Masters of Evil. He's going to pick up the victory with a chokeslam. And then, already announced, we've got the women's title match. Now, Blair got a title opportunity after picking up the victory against the Viper Squad. So, she's going to have Cassie at ringside, but her one-on-one with Zofia. Zofia is teasing a face turn, but I've said that before, I think she's just too cool to be heel. But it turns out Cassie and Blair are this like really good baby faces, to the point where they should be my main baby faces. So I am undecided whether I should go through with the face turn for Zofia. I'll think about it between now and next event, because I'm going to have to make a decision. But I'm starting to think maybe it'd be better to have Zofia as my main heel and Blair and Cassie as my main faces, because they have this. Cassie in particular has this attribute at the moment where female members of the audience really resonate with her, so she's going to give me a boost in anything she's in. And this got a 61. I just noticed a 61 rating. That's really good. That's probably like my highest rated segment ever for this match. So that's great. So yeah, I'm really questioning whether my money match is going to be potentially Zofia versus Cassie. So I might need Zofia to stay heel. But either way, we're still teasing Zofia's face right now. So competitive match ending with a knockout head kick. She's going to catch her, spinning kick to the head, knocks her right out, pins her. She retains the title. She walks away victorious. No cheating, no underhanded tactics, just show of respect, fair defense. And she's going to walk up, holding the belt, victorious. Cassie's going to get in the ring and help out Blair. And then we're going to get an attack. As Zofia is looking back in respect, not like knocking her, but a brush past. It's Viper McKenna. It's Maisie Laurels. They hit the ring. Cassie and Blair beat them last time, so they're here to get revenge. They're just going to get on top of the Dublin girls. They're going to lay a vicious attack. And the crowd are going to see Zofia there watching. And honestly, she's been teasing respect. So they're going to be like, Zofia, get involved. Save him. Save him. But she's going to stand there and watch. And she's going to look conflicted doing so. So we're going to start questioning it again. And it'll end with just one final glance back between the Viper squad and the champion. Maybe that's a future title match itself. Now, Viper, even though she's in her 40s, is one of my better female workers as well. So it'd be probably good to get her in there with Zofia. And the other women, of course. So yeah, alright, 37. Yellow is basically, yeah, alright, yeah, fine. But green's good. That's what we have to remember. And then finally, we have our final match. Now, as I expected, alright crowd rating, subpar wrestling, as it says there. But in this, finally, Kruge the Revenger defeats his nemesis in Kronos the Conqueror. It's going to be a slow match, unfortunately. You've seen what happens when like two giants fight in a main event. It's always slow. It's not my preferred style of wrestling and all that. And both of these guys aren't like big guys who are entertainers either. They're both monster characters. So it's just a bit iffy. It's like seeing Big Show versus Kane for the world title. It's going to be slow and plodding and not great. Eva Berlin's there to do some work at ringside. But ultimately, Kruge's going to retain. He's going to beat Kronos. And that's it. Kronos is done. Not exactly done forever. You will see him again. But as far as that storyline goes, Kruge has revenged and beaten Kronos once and for all. So now we can send Kruge in a different direction. And spoiler alert, it's probably going to result in the title being taken off him and given to someone else. But you'll have to wait and see who that is and how that's going to come about. All right, so that I don't think there was anything that stunk apart from the angle with Dylan Draman, Prime, and Valhalla Born, my homemade tag team. So let's see what rating it got. 47, which is about what we've been doing. And I've actually I didn't do any pre-show matches this time. It couldn't be bothered really. But yeah, not bad. It's probably my best wrestling ratings. We've got a few. So we got the tag match got 50. Hercules and Witch Doctor, which I'm really surprised we've got 52. Paolo and Bam Bam got 50. Hammer and Anvil and T-Rex got 53. Zofia and Blair got 61, which I think is my best rated segment since I started this game. So I'm heading in the right direction. The thing is, I'm learning who I should be using. Hercules as a singles, I should be using. Forster and Sigurdsson has potential. These guys, Eugen as well. I know he's the one who was like the weak link in it. Are like going to be my main guys going forward as well. Kruge has a big question mark next to him. Kronos is a bit iffy. Women do it really well. It might get to the point where I'm main event with a women's title match. We'll see. Great, and it increased our popularity in 8 regions. We're definitely headed in the right direction. Wonderful, wonderful. All right, guys. Well, we'll end it there another time. Thank you very much. I don't think I have anything to show you behind the scenes. If there's anything I'm not showing you that you'd like to see, you'd like me to talk about, just let me know in the comments and all that. Anything you'd like to see me do? Any worker recommendations? Anyone you think I should sign? Bearing in mind, EWA is a small company and most big names will not negotiate with us unless they're on the way out. So yeah, so keep that in mind. I'm not signing anyone from the big companies or anything like that. All right, thanks very much, everyone. See you next time.